Hi, it's Ramsey Dewey here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. We have a question from an anonymous viewer, and I imagine they were probably a little embarrassed to ask this question, which was very, very simple but super duper important. Because a lot of you think you know this and you don't know it. And it is, how do I make a fist? And that's about it. Okay. Now, if you belong to a traditional martial arts school that takes you 2 weeks or a month to teach you how to make a fist, you may be at a McDojo, so you might start asking some questions. Now, let's do that again. I'm going to take these fingers, I will fold them. Fold basically the tips of my fingers, the nails right there, to this crease right here in the middle. Boom. Okay. Now I'll take that thumb and I will tuck it safely over the top. I don't want it out on the side. I don't want it in between. It's going to be right there, so that when my punch lands, my thumb doesn't get caught on something and torn off, okay? Now, I will also curl my wrist down a little bit, so that if my wrist is relaxed and then I punch, that's going to happen. On impact, I can break my wrist, do some horrible things to my hand. I don't want that. So instead, I will curl it slightly down. And when the punch comes, boom, it's solid. Nice straight line, good bone alignment. Speaking of bone alignment, we can punch. We can connect with these two knuckles here, these three knuckles here, or the whole flat of the hand right there. And before you start screaming at me virtually in the comments below, hey, Ramsey, don't teach them something I wasn't taught in my specific martial art. Different people do it different ways, and there are pros and cons to each method. What is generally taught in karate and taekwondo, martial arts like that, when punching without a glove on, is to use these two big knuckles there. Because they're big, man. They are hard. They are directly connected to these metacarpals. You can actually see the metacarpals poking out through my skin right there, connected in a fairly straight line to the radius and the wrist bone right there. On my hairy forearm right there. Yeah. And that's good. That's fine. You can do lots of damage. Hard weapons, those two big hard knuckles against soft targets. Dig them in the eyes and stuff like that. What's happening with the light right there? I don't know. But we can also do three-knuckle contact like this. And before you say, wait a minute, Ramsey, these metacarpals come up at an angle like this, and so it doesn't connect straightly. It's not good bone alignment. It's not unless you change the angle of entry. If I'm throwing what's called an impure punch, where my shoulder is aligned like this, notice my elbow's up, right? That's terrible punching technique. And no matter what part of my hand I'm using, I'm going to screw up my arm and my shoulder and my wrist, etc. So, pure punching technique, elbow pointing down, right? And then bring it out. Either keep it vertical and connect with those three, or rotate only on impact to keep it a pure punch. And then you'll keep your hands a whole lot safer. One advantage of the three-knuckle contact is if you are fighting bare knuckle. We'll talk about gloves in just a moment. But if you are fighting bare knuckle, you can increase the amount of surface area by connecting this area between these three knuckles from the middle finger, ring finger, and pinkies, along with the tops of the fingers right there. Instead of focusing on power punching, you can focus on volume. And because of the increased surface area, you can, if you condition your hands correctly, avoid serious damage to your hands that you might otherwise have got. So, connecting this way versus that way. Both have lots of pros and cons. Try them out, see what you think. Now, if you're wearing a boxing glove, you may notice that inside the glove, your hand is shaped like this. It's not a true fist at all. Sometimes the thumb is way out there, depending on the brand of the glove, maybe extended even further than your actual fist. Okay? And so if you are punching karate style with these two big knuckles, what happens? The thumb is the first thing to come in contact with anything else. And so as a result, you may break your thumb. So if you're injuring your thumb a lot when throwing punches with boxing gloves, modify your technique to three-knuckle contact. And instead aim with this finger right here, your ring finger. No, I'm not flipping you off. That's a ring finger, guys. So if you aim with the knuckle of the ring finger, what ends up happening is you will generally land on that sweet square spot right there. In other words, on the boxing glove, on the flat of the glove right here, which will result in the most damage to your opponent and the least damage to you. And your thumbs will be nice and safe. They'll be kept out of the way. So it'll be connecting more like this and less like this. So, to recap, how to make a fist. Fold the fingers down, thumb over the top, lock the wrist into place. And I would also recommend keep your hands nice and loose until the moment of impact, boom, where we get tight. Practice that. Once again from the side view, another angle on that. Fold the fingers down, thumb over the top. Here I'll give you another view. Fingers down, thumb over the top, two hands at once. Ooh, look at the skills on me, guys. Anyway, so that's how you make a fist. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.